Hello, in this video I'm going to go over some of the components that you can change on your website. Your website is yourgfreespot.com and it's utilizing WordPress that allows you to go in and make changes to your website. So in order to do that, the first thing you need to do is go to your website. I typically like to have two tabs open. One tab would show the front end of your website, the other would be the back end. So the back end would be, right now we're working off the development server, but when the site goes live, it would be yourgfreespot.com /wp admin. That's /wp hyphen admin. Once you click on that, you'll see a login screen similar to this. I'm gonna pause the video so I can put in the credentials. When the site does go live, you will be given credentials to be able to access the backend. The backend looks similar to what you see here on the screen right now. This is called the WordPress dashboard, and there's tons of resources out there in terms of how to use the dashboard. So I'm going to go over the most common features, but you can always look up WordPress dashboard on YouTube or Google, and you'll definitely find out other tips as well. But in this video, this should consolidate most of the major changes and cover most of the major changes that you would make on your website. So the first thing I wanted to go over is typically some of the changes that you would do are the pages. So let's for example go over the about page. So this is the about page, and let's say I wanted to make some changes to some of these contents. So all the pages are handled by going to the left hand menu and selecting pages, and you basically have 5 pages to your site. So let's say we want to edit the about page. We'll hover over the about and click on edit. So how this site's designed is that you have 4 major regions that you could make changes to, and if you look at the back end, you can kind of make sense of each of the regions. So the about, this section here, this is where you would make your changes for the about. The left-handed side image would be this part right here, and then additional page element, there's the left side and there's the right side, and that covers these two here. So let's go over in more detail of some of the exact regions. So let's say we want to edit this picture here. You would just essentially remove the featured image, but before you do that, let's go ahead and click on the image itself. That will give us a little bit more detail of what that image is. What we can find out is that this image is a JPG, it's a JPEG, and it's 498 by 440. So what that tells me is that if I want to replace this particular image, I should replace it with an image that's similar size, which is 498 width and 440 height, but also the same type of image, which is a JPEG. So what I would do is I would remove the image, and then when I click on it, I'll go to upload files and grab the image from my desktop computer and then drag it in. So that's how the uploading the image works. Once the image has been uploaded, you'll select set featured image down here, and essentially you'll basically swap out for the new image. In terms of editing content, it's basically like Word. So you can just go ahead and type as you please. There is a difference between Shift Enter and Enter. Shift Enter, when you hold down Shift and you press the Enter key, it's basically a line break, so the cursor will go to the next line. But if you just press Enter, that's a line break, but it's also another line break, so it's 2 line breaks. So you can see the difference between this sentence here, where it basically just falls to the next line, while when I press Enter, there's an extra spacing up there. So that's something you should have to make sure you get yourself covered. That I know tricks up a lot of people, so just be aware of that. So as I'm typing along, I could highlight certain words and then click on this little link icon, and that allows me to create a hyperlink. I have the option selected so that if somebody clicks on the hyperlink, it opens up a new tab. I can highlight things and I can bold, italicize. I can select the font type. Um, this special font here, this italicized, very cursive type font, that is called great the great vibes font. And I clicked it here, but you're not going to see the changes in here. But if I click on update and then I refresh this page, you can see that font is applied. To automatically create one of these heading type fonts, the big heading type fonts, such as this right here, you would essentially, if you want to make changes, I recommend, instead of deleting the entire thing and recreating it, I recommend just editing the inside. So let's say I want to change to page 1. I would type page 1 within the text, and then delete the last character and the first character, and that way that makes it a lot easier in terms of trying to figure out how to replicate that, not only the font family but also the font size. Now if you want just to replicate the font size, you want just to delete it and then type in everything new. Let's just try to reset everything. See, this is what happens when you try to reset things. So I kind of don't recommend it, but you could still do it. Let's just do let's just keep it about like that, about us. But instead, let's just recreate down here. You would just highlight the entire word, and you would go to paragraph, and then you click on heading 1. And heading 1 would basically replicate the font size and the font family of the typical heading font, this part right here. So if I click on update, one thing I missed, heading 1 will replicate the font size and I don't, maybe not the font type. What you also have to do is you would have to italicize it as well. So let's italicize that, and also let's italicize that. Click on update, and that should do it. So there you go. So the heading gives you the boldness. I forgot, it's the boldness and the font size, but you also have to italicize it to get the cursive script that you see. So let's go ahead and delete that. Image down here, if you want to add the image, I recommend first click on this little pencil icon, just so that you can get the font, so you can get the size of the image. So this looks like to be 166 by 221. So that's 166 width and 221 height. And then it does the picture. You also have to include that little shadow effect. But once you have an image of that size, those dimensions, you could just click on the X, and then click on Add Media, and that will basically allow you to replace the image. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other pages. So let's look at the home page. So I'm gonna go to, let's make sure the About page is exactly how we like it first before we move on. So I'm gonna click on Update. Refresh this page. Okay, looks like our test content is out there. So now we can safely go to the home page. Let's take a look at the home. The reason why I want to go over all the pages is because all of them are designed a little bit different. So that does make a difference in terms of the maintenance of the site. So I want to just kind of go over each one just to make sure our bases are covered in terms of the different areas or different page layouts. So the home page has a slider effect, which is this part up here, and we'll go over this later. What I want to go over is the content portion. So here it's a left-right column type portion. So to edit that it's just one area here, and you have your left side and your right side. Certain content's bold, and you would just bold those appropriately. Some are bold and italicized, so you would just highlight and bold and italicize those appropriately. The Twitter part here will automatically be pulled from your account when we go live. So that part don't edit. Brownies with a purpose, that's this part right here, so that's easily updatable. Let's go to products. Products is going to be somewhat similar, where it's a left column, right column combination. As you can see, it's left and right, and you can go and edit each of the left and right. I recommend clicking on the image first, click on the pencil, just so that you can find out what the dimensions are, so that you know how to replace them, or at least replace it with the correct image dimensions to keep everything consistent. 489 width, 367 height. Once you know the dimensions, click on X, and then click on Add Media, and then drag the appropriate picture into the window and click on Insert into Page. I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm not going to update the page, so the changes won't make effect. So let's just refresh the page. Content should be back. Good. Right hand side, essentially they're all heading ones. So these are heading ones, and again, to make sure the changes are in effect, I recommend just editing the stuff in the middle and then deleting the last and first character. Each of them have their own special colors. You would highlight the entire text, and then you would select text color, and then you can choose the different text colors that you want. If you don't like the ones that they already provided, you can always go to custom, and that will allow you to change it more specifically. And that's essentially the product page. The little dairy icon is just an icon that's 73 by 73, and it's aligned to the right. So that will create this effect here. And that's it for the product page. So let's go over to the next page. Celiac disease. Go all pages and click on that. This is basically straightforward as well. You got the content. The image here is right aligned to create the wraparound between the text. These bullet points are basically just like Word. You just press enter, and they'll keep adding bullet points as long as you add content to it. If you don't, if you're done with it, then you press enter, it being empty. It'll remove the bullet points, and then you can always backspace to kind of fix up the margins or fix up the padding a little bit. So let's do that. So that's pretty straightforward. Go to all pages, and I believe the contact page is going to be similar to the about pages. There's a couple areas of content. So let's go to the contact page. So you have your contact us, which is this part here. This is the image for it. The featured image for this, and then the content down here, which is the testimonials. You have the left hand side, and you have the right hand side, and there's a little padding up there just so that the spacing lines up a little bit. In terms of the colors here, those are predefined for you. So let's say you wanted to you changed the name, but you lost the image, or you lost the colors. You could just highlight the name, and then you go to text colors, and I believe it's one of these. Let's see, pink, the magenta, the brown. I think it's the magenta. Let's take a look. Yeah, that looks pretty similar to this here. So some colors are predefined. So I predefined 3 different colors. I defined it a light pink, a magenta, and a brown. And I think those show up on various sections. So the pink is what you have for, I believe, the anchor tags. Or actually, it might be this pink down here. And I think those are in different areas as well. Not quite sure. The brown is typically the text here. These texts are brown. So I defined those as well. So it just might be in different areas, but I kind of just defined those 3. So when you come up to a situation where you need a certain type of pink or a magenta or brown, just know that those are already predefined for you, so that you don't have to try to, roughly recreate it again. So I'm gonna refresh that page. That should not have our dummy content saved, so that looks good. So that's basically all the pages in a nutshell on how to edit the various pages. So the next thing I wanted to go over is the home page slider, which is this part right here. I wanted to show you how to rearrange the slides if you need to, or update the images. Though that's done under Cyclone Slider. Click on Edit the Home Page Slider, and right now you have three slides. And if you wanted to edit them, you would just open up one of the slides, click on Get Image, and that allows you to essentially upload a new image. I'm trying to find out, okay, how do we find out what the existing image is, at least the existing image size? Looks like there might not be a good way. Let's see, go to Media, and I think it's this one. So that one's a little bit tricky, so let me do that again. You click on Get Image. You want to go to the Media Library tab if it's not clicked already, and then you click on one of the slides. So looks like it's this one, slide 1, and it looks like to be 970 by 440. So when you upload a new image, make sure it's that dimension. Once you upload it, click on Add to Slide, and that will place the image. If you want to delete that slide, you'll click on this little X here. That'll delete the slide. You can always add another one. That allows you to add another one, which I don't want to do. But in case I do, we'll click on Get Image. We'll upload, an image to the window, and then we can click and drag, and that'll allow you to essentially position it to a certain order. So so it's pretty easy to do that. So you can click and drag. I'm not going to keep that change, so I'm going to delete. Click on delete. It's gone. Now, if you want one of the slides to be one of those, if you can click on it and it goes to a certain page, all you have to do is add a link URL to here, and then select if you want it to be a new tab or same window. Click on Update, and that's essentially how you do it. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The next thing I want to go over is backup. So I always recommend backing up before making some huge changes, as well as backing up after making your changes, and that allows you to have the peace of mind knowing that not only are your changes been backed up, because it might take a while for you to make changes, and you definitely want to make sure those changes definitely get backed up in the event of something ever happening. But it also gives you the peace of mind knowing that if you made an accident, like a really big boo-boo, that is really hard to revert, then you know that you can always have the peace of mind to restore. Now, the restoration process is a little bit complicated, so I don't recommend it for a regular client that's not technical to do it. But you do have the capabilities if you have the documentations for it, which is not included here, but it can be provided to you if you want to. So now that the backup is finished running, it'll back up all the changes, all your information onto the server, but that does you no good unless you download it to your local computer. So if you click on Download Backup, that will essentially take the backup and saves it to your local computer. And that way you have a safe copy of your website on your computer that you can provide to your hosting or to your developers to upload it back, to restore back if something ever happens to your site. So that's in a nutshell essentially how to maintain your website. The one last thing I do want to cover is updates, which as of right now you only have one, which is the plugin here. You'll see a little circle with a number. The number dictates how many updates that needs to happen. I will recommend that you update, but update with caution, because the problem is that not all updates are going to be backwards compatible. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that, or I think maybe a better phrase, it's a double-edged sword in that updates are inevitable in that you need to update to stay recent, with most of the updated with the most recent security fixes and patches and all that, and just to keep up with the times. However, updates are also dangerous because not all updates play well with your existing infrastructure. So what that means is that some updates will break certain things, and that's just part of technology. That not all updates will be smooth. So I recommend that you update with caution. It's always good to back up before you make an update in case something does break. You always have a backup to revert back to. But some updates will require you to hire a developer to fix. So just be aware with that. So that's basically my recommendation for updates. Thank you.